gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary?
You're talking to two guys from Hialeah and West Kendall and one with a Raleigh Fingers mustache, so I think you're good.
Ricky Vaughn style, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Who flips their bat like that in a single?
I'm here for
A guy that's hitting 200, bro.
Listen, you paid $5 for your ticket, even if you're sitting behind home plate.
Skip gets paid the big bucks. He knows a little better than I do.
And he's very handsome.
So handsome.
super
Great.
handsome. Super handsome.
Your expectations as a Marlins fan should have changed by now.
All the feels, man. Like, I love Pablito so much.
Lineup doesn't take for your ball.
It depends on what you give up,
I
man.
don't like that question, Danny.
I don't.
Why would you let me see it if I can't have it? Like, I feel like the Marlins.
Jerk.
Starting staff has looked so much better.
All three of them.
I'm looking forward to this one, guys. I believe.
The Marlins have the worst run differential in the National League.
Oh man, now this was the wrong choice, but
I am ready to get hurt again.
Guys, the Marlins are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 47 of the Battered Marlins Fans podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, three other Battered fans. But, I'm feeling a lot better than I usually do over the last, 2 weeks? Things have been looking a little better. I'm feeling pretty good. But let me start from my left to your right, Mr. Bratton Griffin. How are you doing, sir?
Listen, I'm doing great. The band is back together.
Yes, that also. It's been a while.
Spazzy's back from his trip to the south of France with Sixto. Cali's been able to stop packing boxes and join us. Life's good, man. Marlins did exactly what I thought they would do. And here we are.
Shout out to Jeremy joining us and Anthony. Spaz, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? We're back. We got a full weekend of Marlins baseball ahead of us.
Yes.
I'll be there on Saturday.
You're gonna get the Flanagan's jersey and cup?
I gotta get the Flanagan's jersey, bro.
Son of a bitch.
So if we buy the tickets, Spazzy, and send them to you, do you think you can pick up other jerseys?
So it's not going to be like on your seat. And I think it's going to be like what Cali and I did for teacher appreciation. That you have to make a line. You have to make a line and like show your ticket. So maybe like I possibly can. I don't know how strict they're going to be about that, but I know that a lot of people are going to be there for Flanagan's night because everyone's pretty excited about it.
Man, it kills me that it's the same time as an Inter Miami game. They should have made it on Sunday. They really messed me up.
Sunday they have the Yuri Day, so they already had that. They have the Yuri
bobblehead.
Day.
Yeah, I know.
Guess they couldn't mix too many things together. But yeah, I mean, Saturday's gonna be the most amount of baseball that I've watched in a while.
Yeah. And Joe Kerr is thinking along the same lines as me. I was thinking of just paying somebody for a ticket to go on Saturday if they could just get me the jersey and the cup. I want the cup. The cup, rocking the Marlins hat. Man, I want the cup. The jersey's cool and everything, but I want the cup.
The cup, I think, is anybody just the first 10,000 fans. That they're giving it at the door.
Yeah, they're just giving away the cup, I think.
Yeah, I've already have
go to the game, and then before I head up north to the Inter Miami game.
Yeah, pop in. I used to do that all the time. Just get the whatever the giveaway is and leave.
What time's the game start?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Gates open.
You get there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, gates open at 3 or 2:30, and then you'll be fine.
I might go down just to get the giveaway and come back for the
game. Yeah, I drive past it heading north. You'd have to actually literally come down. And Mr. Cali, Mr. Future Baltimore resident, Oriole, second team, how are you doing, sir?
Dog, I'm tired, man. Packing sucks. Packing is the worst thing of all time. I fucking hate it. I am fucking miserable. In terms of the Flanagan stuff, like the cups and the jerseys, like I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I mean, Saturdays are mainly weekends these days. These days are just for packing and like getting our shit in order and like finding a school for our daughter and like all the other shit that comes with moving that you don't think about until you're actually moving. I'm gonna straight up offer people money for these things. So let me know what I owe you when you grab one of these things. If you're willing to part with some of them, just let me know.
They'll probably be on eBay, right? Like they should be on eBay.
Probably, but yeah. But aside from that, things are good. My last official day at my former employer at the school I was working at, kind of bittersweet, but yeah. So I bought. So in terms of books, and that's that we haven't even packed all our books because we still have our daughter's books. I've used 21 boxes alone on books.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. And I was going
My
through
wife
with my
used to
wife
have a
with
lot
like
of
how many of these have I read? And I would guess conservatively we have about 500 books. I would comfortably say I've read half of them. So
My
yeah.
wife gave a lot of hers away. We have the majority of ours just threw them, the ones that we have left, put them here.
Yeah, what we're planning to do after the move, because we do have a ton of books, is like I think outside our house, and this is a common thing we've seen up there, is like putting out a little free library. So kind of like an enclosed casing outside and just putting a couple there so people can kind of just take them, like the ones that I mean, I have a hard time parting with books. That's why we have so many. But, you know, some of the ones that are easy to replace, I'll probably put out there.
You know what I have a lot of, which I don't know why. I just haven't wanted to throw them out. I have a lot of textbooks, a lot of math textbooks.
I have a ton of like SAT prep books and stuff like that because I used to tutor for that a lot, and my wife still does to some extent. That was always like an additional source of income as a teacher. Like you help kids prep for testing. So I had like 10 SAT books, but 2 of those books, which are my books that I'll never give away under any circumstance, there are a lot of first prints or original prints of books. So I have like my most prized possession that I found in this old bookstore was one of the original printings of the Federalist Papers.
Whoa.
Yeah, I paid more than I am comfortable sharing on this.
That'll pay for the move.
I'll say this: I bought it before I was married.
Yeah.
If my wife wouldn't have bought this,
but it's a little easier to do things that way when you're not married.
It was 4 figures. I'll say that it was 4 figures that I paid for it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. All right. Well, getting back to the Marlins, I mean, it's been a nice surprise the way things have been going as of late. I was looking, and we are currently on pace to win 57 games. Now, that is, of course, taking into account the fact that we started so poorly. We started the season 10-31.
Jesus.
That's the first 41 games. Let's say, give or take, let's say it's 25% of the season at that point. If we could erase that, and I know we can't, and I know this is a hypothetical. Sometimes people say it's a stupid hypothetical, but I'm going to play it anyway. If you could erase the first 25% and you start from scratch after game 41, we are 10-6. The Marlins, in the last 16 games that are 10-6, would be on pace to win 100 games. Now, I don't think that they're a 100-win team, but I also don't think that they are a 10-31 team either. They're somewhere in the middle. We got bit by the injury bug to start the season, and we're paying the price for it right now. And unfortunately, that's what you're seeing, because I think this team is better than the way it started, and with the healthy pitching, as you can see now that Braxton's back, Luzardo's getting back into form. I think that this team is better than what we've seen so far, better than 20-37 for sure. So let me start with Brenton. Brenton, what did you think of the last week? We went 3-3. We won the first series. That was, I think, a 4th series win in a row. We unfortunately didn't win the series against the Brewers. No, it wasn't the Brewers. Who was it? We just
Padres.
I'm sorry, it was the Padres. We didn't win the series against the Padres, but we did salvage a game. We didn't get swept. What do you think about the Marlins so far over the last week?
I am not going to lie. If my wife wasn't already pregnant when Braxton Garrett threw that complete game shutout, I would have conceived a child.
That was a sexy performance.
That was like to me, that performance in that game from him, from the whole team, like Josh Bell had a web gem to keep that to close that game out. Like, to me, that was what this Marlins team should have been the whole season. And had we had a healthy pitching staff, maybe we would have been closer to that. But this last week has been great. Finishing 500 for the series on a West Coast road trip is always good. Seeing Brax outdueled Zach Gallen was even better.
That was something, huh?
Seeing Lazard, I think it was Luzardo, right, who struck out Arise.
Yeah.
I loved seeing that. I was like, man, no one strikes out Arise but Luzardo. Bam. Dodgers. If you want to keep the Padres at bay, come get him.
Well, Ken Rosenthal came out and said that Luzardo's all but gone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's gone.
I'm sure.
I'm
honestly surprised he's still here a little bit, but yeah, no.
But out of the top, because I think there's three pitchers that stand out the most to us, right? It would be Weathers, Brax, and Luzardo. Out of the three, would you not rank him third out of those three?
Right now, today,
maybe.
in the scope of the entire season, probably.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised
but
that
Luzardo has a track record of excellence.
That's true.
Yeah,
he'll come back to norm, which we're seeing.
And he has the innings under his belt that, like, you know what you get with him. Whereas, with Ryan Weathers, like what he's putting on arguably an all-star season right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an anomaly up until this point, right? Like that, it's not a banality by any stretch. And Garrett, Garrett has seemingly flown under the radar because he was very good last year, man. Very good last year.
He was our ace.
Yeah. At the end of the day, and I said it a million times, he was our most consistent pitcher last year. I said it all year last year.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
And he's kind of, he's just had a bit of a roller coaster season, but again, just quietly consistent. I guess it's because he's not sexy, right? He's not throwing 98, 99, 100. He's not flashing a radar gun. What he's great at is nothing sexy. Like he has a good changeup, has a good slider, hits his spots. He's not blowing it past anybody. He's like
the dollar store Greg Maddux.
He's a true blue.
I'll take that.
Like he is a true blue. Like I am going to junk you and work you to death type of thing. He's not like a Verlander or Scherzer or one of these guys that are just like, I'm just gonna blow by you. There's not a fucking thing you're gonna do about it. He's a death by 1,000 cuts. He's like, I'm gonna annoy the fuck out of you. You might, he's gonna run into barrels and stuff. It happens, but I'm gonna paint the sides. I'm gonna get you into an annoying count. That's just the kind of guy he is, which isn't sexy by any stretch, but it's efficient. And
his last two starts, he's only given up one run, which was that home run that he gave up. That's it.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. Very, very good. But yeah, again, Luzardo, he's more of the household name. He's a guy that you can kind of plug in and you know what you're getting with him. Whereas Ryan Weathers, again, it's like maybe the magic rides out through the season, but like if he's on the roster again next year, I'm not anticipating that being the case. Like I'm not expecting Ryan Weathers to continue to be like a perennial all-star by any stretch.
Right. Spaz, what did you think about the last week of baseball?
I think that the days that the Marlins win, the other Miami teams are not winning.
I was going to look that up, and I completely forgot.
We had that happen yesterday. Took a half day, went up to Inter Miami, and beat the piss out of the Padres. What was it, 9-1, 9-0? I don't know. Beat the piss out of the Padres, and Inter Miami get wrecked by an awful Atlanta United team.
Bad Atlanta, genuinely terrible Atlanta United.
Yep.
I was with fans before the game, and they were all like congratulating us on the win before they even went in. They're like, "Hey, congrats on the W, by the way." I'm like, "Okay, cool." That did not happen. And then the same thing happened the other day with the Panthers. Marlins won, and whatever. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. I like that we're on the up and up. I think so many of us kind of threw in the towel. Myself, I threw in the towel.
100%.
Yeah, it was really, really difficult to just watch that day in and day out. But man, if what we're seeing is what we're capable of, it is going to suck because, like you mentioned, we are going to lose Luzardo. That's probably just one of many that we're going to lose. So that's going to all suck. But I like what I'm seeing. They're really leaning back in, and I'm always going to love the Marlins. They're always going to be my, I love baseball. So, but yeah, I like what I'm seeing. Hopefully it keeps going.
Here, Jeremy's asking, Victor Mesa Jr., and Griffin Conine are still in the minors. Are they going to get the call-up?
I think so.
I think that we got all those moves that we're waiting for them to Marlins to eventually make. We feel like they're going to eventually start clearing house. I feel like that needs to happen before we start seeing these guys get called up. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, all that's definitely going to happen. Like, it's a for sure thing that we're losing Luzardo. It's a for sure thing that we're going to, like, they're slowly starting to let everyone know, like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. So for sure, we're going to see some of those names in the second half of the season. I, for one, am very happy to see Griffin Conine come up. That would be really exciting for me. But yeah, no, we'll see a lot of those names for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to the point in the season that we're going to kind of start seeing that revolving door where guys are going to start getting chances. The Victor, I mean, at least one of them. I forgot which is the one that went AWOL. But whichever one didn't, I think we'll definitely see up. I want to say he was up for a touch last season, towards the end of last season.
Towards the end, I think it was a September call up. But
yeah,
the prospect I think we'll see sooner rather than later. You didn't even mention Jeremy, and I think it's Troy Johnson. I think Josh Bell is on the trade block. I think he will go, and I think Troy Johnson will probably be the first prospect that we see come up, and it's long overdue. Dude led the team in home run, or led AAA in home runs last year. I think he hit close to 300. Like, that's a dude we need to bring up and give him a shot.
I don't think
he's gonna get DFA'd. That's what's gonna happen to him.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna see Tim Anderson here for the rest of the season. I do think that. Yeah, I don't think they walk.
I'm with Spazz. I thought he would eventually get DFA'd.
That dude is doing nothing, man.
I think Brandon's right. I think Troy Johnson is probably going to be the prospect we see called up sooner rather than later, because Josh Bell is like the trade guy, right? Like, historically throughout his career, that's kind of what he's been. And I'm sure he makes $16 million. The Marlins are going to want to shed that as soon as they can. And this is very much not a team in contention for anything right now. So I expect.
And he's been our most consistent hitter this year too.
Yeah. So in true Marlins fashion, and if what Bendix is doing is any indication, is that, I think Bell's going to be gone, and I think we'll see Troy Johnston be our first baseman for the rest of the season. But I think they ride with TA, man. I don't know. I don't see that. It's not like a hefty contract comparatively to some of the other guys we have on the roster. So I can't see a world where he gets DFA'd.
I think the only way he would get DFA'd is if we had like a prospect at shortstop in AAA that he was blocking, and that we wanted to get action this season. We don't. Shortstop is one of our worst positions. Probably
our worst,
just
position.
Ahead of catcher. No, catcher is worse.
Yeah, catcher is worse.
So you're probably right. Yeah. I think it's just one thing.
I think, we DFA'd the only guy that will probably DFA this season today, which was what's his name? Hugo Suck or something.
Oh, Woo Suck. Yeah.
And the other three guys we got for a rise are all injured, so we're winning.
The guy that we traded for today, Sean Anderson, we got him from the Rangers. He's a local boy, went to Heritage. My brother played against him, and I coached against him. His senior year. He didn't. I don't think he pitched against us, but I remember it was like a guy on the roster that were like, "Oh shit, okay, like that's Sean Anderson," and he went to play at UF, and he got drafted pretty high, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Hometown kid coming back.
And we literally play them like this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably just took the team charter because we don't want to pay for a ticket.
I had a quick question, just because I don't want to forget to ask it later, but it's something that me and Brandon were talking about, so it's going to sidetrack us a second, but I am curious. We were having the conversation about if we were going to finally retire a jersey, who would be first jersey that we retire? And because you two weren't part of this conversation, I do want to get your opinion before we move on, because I don't want to forget to ask. So, Spazz, if we were going to retire a Marlins jersey, the first ever Marlins jersey retired in Lone Depot Stadium, who is that guy that gets his jersey retired?
It's not my choice, but I think the obvious choice and what would make everyone very happy is probably Jeff Conine.
That's what I said.
It's not my choice.
Who would your choice be? Because my choice is something that I don't think will happen. Because mine was Luis Castillo.
Oh, that's a good one. That is such a good one.
The first ever
in the Marlins uniform.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the Marlins is we have all these great
Jeremy
players
just
who have
said
played
Manson
here,
as
but they
well.
haven't played here for long.
You know what, Brandon? Some one or two people pointed this out in the comments after we got off live. I guess they watched it later, and they pointed this out. And Jeremy just brought it up also. This is probably a good one also.
That's my answer. That was going to be my answer. Jose Fernandez.
That's a good one.
That is a good
that would
one.
be
And I don't
good.
know how we didn't consider that last week. This is probably what it would be.
The only reason
I think the problem the reason it won't be is
yeah,
you know,
the circumstances in which.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, if we're talking like purely baseball and like what they meant to the community and stuff like that, I think Jose is the easiest answer.
It's a big one.
Dontrell
would be a cool one, but
I like that one.
He wasn't here long enough.
Would be a cool one also.
But that's the
would be
thing.
a cool one. I just don't think it was one of those. I think it's one of those things he just wasn't here long enough.
Yeah. We got rid of
we
him.
just need a statue of Dontrell.
I would love
That's
to.
You just want the leg kick.
I think the safest answer is Conine, right? Like
I think so. Mr. Martin has to be it. Now, do you retire both jersey numbers or just one of them?
What do you mean between Fernandez
18 and 19?
18 and 19.
No.
Oh, okay.
It would be 19, right?
Whichever one gave him more time. I don't know about
I want to say it was 19 that he had longer, right?
The original.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Brenton, I like Luis Castillo. I think that would be my.
my pick.
The thing is, I feel like if they were going to retire a guy like one of those guys, they would have done it already.
Yeah, they won't. And so like,
I don't think we'll see it until we get the first Marlins Hall of Famer, so we'll probably be dead.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was just gonna say.
But
Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza
Martin.
retired 31 for all the 5 games he was here.
Sheffield
did he make
would
it
be
to 5
cool
games?
because Sheffield didn't get into the Hall. If the
Which is
Marlins were
bullshit.
like, you know what, let's do this. Let's
There you
retire
go.
his number here. That would be cool.
It would have to be someone that does something like absolutely substantial and like be here for a long time.
Yeah.
Because
That's why I
Conine
said Castillo, because he's the only one who's been here for long enough.
What's a
outside of
bigger
Conine.
Hall of Fame snub? Gary Sheffield or Bernie Williams?
Gary Sheffield.
I
What?
think so. Bernie Williams leads in just about every postseason category there is.
How is this a discussion? It's Sheffield. Sheffield had 500. He had the golden marker. Sheffield had the golden marker. He had the 500 home runs.
I don't know how that didn't happen.
In almost every statistical category.
That's fine, but I'm talking. It has to be an entire body of work. I think Bernie, and for what it's worth, I think Bernie Williams deserves it also.
Yeah.
I think they deserve it. But I think the fact that he can lead in almost every postseason statistical category, or at least top 3 at this point, because I'm sure that people have started passing him by now. I think that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, they're both snubs. Like there's no way around it. They're both absolutely snubs. But I mean, Sheffield had the 500 home runs, and the only reason he's not in is because of alleged, and again, nothing proven, alleged steroid use. But we have juicers in the Hall already. Mm-hmm. David Ortiz failed a drug test. Pudge failed a drug test. They're in the Hall.
Well, I mean, they're putting Negro stats back into the MLB stats. Like, maybe things are going to start changing soon.
I love that, by the way.
By the way, it's coolest thing.
Very cool.
All the people crying about the Negro League stats being put in, just go fuck yourselves. Like, it's so stupid to cry about it. Like,
absolutely.
And like, oh, it's a totally different league. Like, yeah, why was there a totally different league, guys?
Yeah.
Those are people who don't
tell me why there was a totally different league.
Those are people who don't understand the history of the game and don't understand that if Josh Gibson played in the same league as Babe Ruth, they would be the Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa of their time. They would have been going pound for pound. And they're like, oh, all these players don't count. Yeah, they're like, oh, the statistics don't count because the Negro League was worse than MLB. No, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
And the
Negro League was better than MLB.
If you look at,
I don't know if there's any way to tell which one was better or not.
If you look at all the Negro League players that came into and eventually played in Major League Baseball, and you look at some of the names associated with that,
it changed everything.
There's some of the best players that ever played. Hank Aaron played in the Negro Leagues. Willie Mays played in the Negro Leagues. Jackie Robinson, Roy Concepcion, Satchel Paige. All these guys. Roy Campanella. Like some of these guys are the best ever. Like quite literally the best ever. Like, yes, they deserve to be in the conversation. They deserve to be in the. It's absolutely asinine that people are complaining about this. There was a different league because they didn't let black people play. Okay.
Are there people complaining about it? I haven't seen.
Yes,
there are.
Yes,
Really?
of course.
I saw a comment
Don't get me
that
started.
said,
Don't get me
I
started.
saw
on
a comment that said, "Oh, if we're gonna bring in the Negro League statistics, we should bring in the Japanese League, the Mexican League, and all these other statistics." And I was like,
Well, we're
"So
talking
that pissed
about-
me off." And I replied back, I said, "You dumbass! Those people played in an established league within their country that allowed them to play. The Negro Leagues were established because no one would sign a black player. It is completely different.
Yeah.
You can't just bring Ichiro's hits over." Because he played in the Japanese league because he was born in Japan and the Japanese league let him play there. MLB would have let him play here, but there's rules against that for Japanese players. It's crazy.
Tag me in that guy's post. I want to go fucking roast him for being an idiot.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it because I'm gonna start going on one of my Cali rants, and I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
But Brandon, you nailed it. It was it's a National Baseball Hall of Fame, right? Like they're stacky, but it was a national league. So we'll leave it at that.
And if somebody made the argument, oh, like it's a National Baseball League and like this and that, and why are there Canadian players? Throw them out. I'm good with getting rid of the Canadians. We don't need them. It's America's past. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, Brent.
All right, Brandon.
We went off on deep end on that one.
But one thing I wanted to ask you guys, because we talked about it last time, and it kind of goes in line with retiring jersey numbers and stuff like that. And like we realistically knew, like we don't have a Hall of Famer, right? So there's not going to be a retired number, but statues are a thing that could happen outside Marlins Park. Because Danny and I were like, there should be murals around the park. There should be statues like acknowledging our history. Because Danny was like, there's a mural of Joe Namath on the Jets in the stadium.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
paint that
ridiculous.
shit over and do like Levon Hernandez. Get me a Dontrell Willis mural. Like let some like artists go crazy. But then we were like, statues could happen. So who's a statue of a Marlins player that you want to see outside of
The
Marlins
Lakers
Park? And then
do
I'll
that.
tell you mine at the end.
The Lakers have a bunch of statues outside of their Staples Arena, which that's really cool. I would love to see that around our park.
The Kaseya Son is
So who
arena,
would you
whatever
put?
they call it. They're gonna put D Wade's statue next year.
Well, we touched on it. I mean, Dontrell with the leg kick has got to be like up there. That's.
I mean, statue
Statue's
wise,
another level though. Like I think statue's another level from Jersey.
I mean, I think it's a way to commemorate meaningful players that had big moments here, right? Like, I mean, like now it's like it becomes like, okay, do you like the? Okay, let me do one thing at a time here. All right, the mural thing I think is awesome, especially with like how close Wynwood is. I'm sure there's artists that can come in and like do something cool, like especially
We've
with
seen all the messy murals.
Look, give me that Pudge mural right there where he's holding the ball. That has to be a mural on there.
Yeah.
Dontrell leg kick has to be on there.
The Edgar Renteria.
I'm blanking on this kid's name that hit a home run.
His arms
D
up.
Gordon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That home run after Jose Fernandez.
There's that famous picture of Josh Beckett like being held up after the win.
Mhm.
That's a good mural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but statue, and Charles just mentioned in the chat. I think that's a good point. Like it would have to be like I would be down with a Conine statue, right? Both part, big part of this organization's history. Like, Castillo would be another one. Like I think Castillo's statue worthy, right? Like again, most games played in a Marlins uniform. Everyone else is like they're cool guys that had cool moments, but no one's been around that long. Like the only other one that I think can maybe have a conversation, and it's just because he won an MVP, he hit all those home runs, is Stanton.
When he retires, yeah.
Yeah, but like again, he wasn't here that long, and like when it's all said and done, he's gonna have been a Yankee longer than he was a Marlin. I think
he already. Oh no, not yet.
Not yet.
I think
we can still trade for him.
Yeah.
Get the back end of his contract. The most.
Take on that backloaded contract.
That would be the most Marlins thing ever.
We'll have Stanton DHing, and us four will be the infield.
Jesus.
Anibal Sanchez is no hitter. All the no hitters. Anibal Sanchez, Al Leiter, AJ Burnett. Let's throw them all on there, man.
You want to know my statue?
What?
Satchel Paige.
Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, but like the original Miami Marlins.
Yeah. Throw him up there with the original Miami Marlins. I
would
found a
love
cool
that.
print that I'm gonna put up back here. I'm gonna probably remove the messy one and put
About
Satchel
time.
Paige in the Miami Marlins uniform, original.
I love that. That's
Well,
a good idea.
how about I throw out just one real quick for a statue? And I don't think that there's anybody worthy of a statue yet for the Marlins. But let's say there was, I would put Jim Leland and Jack McKeon sitting on the bench somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
McKeon with a cigar.
Like, oh yeah,
100%.
McKeon with a cigar, Leland with a cigarette.
Even with a cigarette, yeah, with a dart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, you put him on a
Brought to you
bronze
by
bench.
Marlboro.
Yeah, you sit them on a bench, and then you kind of do it like they do in Disney World with the Walt
It's
Disney
like the
and
Bob
Mickey.
Euchre bench.
And you can go ahead and you sit down. You can take a picture with it.
Exactly. Like
I
you
think
make
that
it
would be
a
really cool.
fellow Ramirez is
Ooh.
another very good one too.
Charles, that's
Ooh,
Fellow
perfect.
Ramirez is a
damn,
great
good
one.
call,
Very
Charles.
good shout, Charles. Fellow Ramirez is a very, very good one.
They did a bobblehead that I saw an offer up the other day, but the guy wanted a lot of money for it. But yeah, Fellow needs way more love. That dude's a legend. R.I.P. That's a good call.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you do the Jim Leland with a cigarette in his mouth, with a cigarette in his fingers. Jack McKeon holding the cigar. You know, leave a gap between them so people can sit and take a picture with them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that would be
Put it
perfect.
in the Marlins Museum. They took the TVs out.
Yeah, you
They
can
got
put
room.
the statue in there.
I would go grab it and show it to everyone. I think I've showed it on here before, but I have a ball signed by both Jack McKeon and Jim Leland.
Damn.
Yeah, it's on the same ball too. So
We need to get like, how can I'm going to contact the boy that works with the marketing department. We gotta figure out. We need to be able to talk to some of these people, give some ideas. Let's make this happen, Captain.
The murals is a super cheap way to redo the inside of the stadium, add some character, and like fans would go nuts for it. And every weekend you could unveil like a new mural. The team's gonna suck the rest
like
of the year.
Season. Yeah, make it like a season thing. Like you obviously have it and keep it for a couple years, but the first year where you start doing it, you debut a different one every. I don't know what's a bad attendance night every Wednesday. Blah.
Boom.
They're gonna want artists to do that pro bono, my dude. They're not gonna want to pay an artist from Wynwood to look. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, do it for free, and we'll put your name out there. You know, whatever. This is Atomic. Atomic did this one.
But you know what?
no,
Like
they probably have more followers on Instagram than the team does.
They might. But you know, it isn't a bad way to promote yourself if you're putting yourself inside an actual professional league stadium. And they're actually making it an event where they're going to unveil it. I think that.
And if they and they could make it like a thing, like where they recorded the artist like painting it and stuff, and like throw that out there. That would get a lot of attention. I think that would be cool.
If they sold the shirts of like the murals, like just like print, that'd be awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Just sold like a print that you could frame and throw on the
wall. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We're brainstorming here. We're doing their jobs for them.
No, Charles is dropping some bangers in the chat too. Bring back the old jerseys for sale. Hell yeah.
I don't know if it was Charles last week, but Charles said the same thing, I think. Yeah. And I agree 100%.
Charles, I don't know what you do for a living, my dog, but like get into the fucking
marketing.
Get into marketing. Figure it the fuck out, my dude.
It is. I would like to know why the Andre Dawson is like the only one.
Because he's from down.
He's from here. He went to what? Southwest, was it?
He went to Southwest. Yeah, Southwest baseball field is Andre Dawson Field is very ubiquitous.
Okay, well, Mike Piazza went to FIU and UF or UM. Why don't we have him?
Look at my head. Can you help me out here, my dude? This is I'm going through it right now. Get me right before I move.
Of course, show off your perfect head of hair. Nice.
Yeah, Brandon, of course, the only one with like a fully fucking perfect head of hair and my balding ass.
Danny has nice hair.
I do. Well,
he does.
No.
Yeah, nice hair.
Eventually, it's gonna go.
Cali, you just gotta do this already, bro.
Dude, I swear to God, I think about it every time I look in the mirror. It's like,
do it, man. It's the best.
Just let it fucking.
Well, I told you I was gonna sidetrack us with that, but I felt like I needed to have that conversation since you guys started on
it was good. I like that.
All right. So getting back to it. So we are now 20-37. We are, 3 games behind the Mets? Now, I was telling Brighton that for me personally, I'm looking at the season as finish better than the Mets. Like, that's what my goal. We're not making the playoffs. Just finish better than the Mets. When I said that, I believe we were 6 or 7 games behind them. Last week we were 5. We are now 3 games behind the Mets. So we're getting there. And they're,
coming, motherfucker.
and they're imploding. Like their players are throwing their gloves, saying that they don't give a crap.
Did he him today?
Yeah, I know. I know. And he apologized. He said that it was a misunderstanding. Yeah, okay.
Well, if you listen to the audio, it kind of was.
There was a language barrier there. I do think
he did say teammate.
You know, but yeah, I'm all guys. Everyone knows how much I hate the fucking Mets. I hate the Mets more than almost every other professional franchise on the face of the planet. I'm all about just fucking up with the Mets, and you know,
for me, it's the Red Sox one, and then the Mets.
Yeah, it's
Braves, Mets.
No, it's the Mets for me. It's definitely the Mets.
I just don't know how they're doing so awful. They fucking suck.
And
they have.
It's so
do
good.
They have the highest payroll.
Oh no, I love it. I'm eating it up. I'm like, oh,
they're definitely top 5 in payroll.
My brother-in-law, he's a Mets fan, and like he'll text me like, you know, every other day, and he's like, "This is brutal. Like, what am I doing with my life?"
They have the highest payroll in the major league.
It's fucking insane.
And you're marginally better than the Marlins record-wise right now.
And the Marlins
and according to Fangraphs, the highest payroll in Major League Baseball gets you a 9.1% chance of making the playoffs.
It's a thing of beauty. I love it. I love it. And you know what? The best thing, and I don't want to make this a Mets podcast, but my favorite thing is that the Mets fans absolutely were praying to get rid of the Wilpons. They said, this is the reason we are horrible. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is that now they're spending more money to suck. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. But anyway, so do you think there's any chance that we get to 70 wins this season?
I think that's the new benchmark.
Okay.
We were at
I know we were texting about that earlier today. I do think that's 70 wins. Like maybe it's not 70 wins, it's maybe like don't lose 100 is the new benchmark, right? Like
I like that one. I like that one. That one's good.
I'm in on that.
Yeah. Don't lose 100.
62. Sorry, I'm doing the math real quick. So for us to end up with 70 wins, we'd have to go 50, 55.
Sounds doable.
50 and
that.
You can go 50 and 55.
I can see us going 500 the rest of the way.
I mean, that's just about. Yeah.
So I think 70 games is doable. I think if we get to 70 wins, again, I've been all over the place this episode, so I apologize. But real quick, I wanted to make a comparison to the Miami Heat real quick. The first season that Dwayne Wade left, I think that's when the Heat culture really became a thing. They started the first season after D Wade. They started it 11-30, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this team's complete crap." 11-30, the first 41 games, halfway through the season. They ended the second half of the season 30-11. They ended with the 41-41 record. Like they literally flipped it and completely changed it. They didn't make the playoffs. They ended up 500. But I felt like that's when the Heat culture was born. That's when they drafted Bam Adebayo because they ended up still being in the lottery. Like things completely changed in that season. And I feel like if you can salvage this season the way it started and make it respectable, I think that changes a little bit of the culture, the way we see the team, the way we see Skip. I mean, I know we think that he's going to leave, but if he salvages this thing, we see him differently. And if if I tell you that next season we're going to go into the season with Luzardo's probably gone, but we're going to go in with Braxton, Ryan Weathers, Sandy, Yuri, and Trevor Rogers as your fifth.
Max Meyer.
You got Max Meyer. You have Nardi. You have. I mean, I still think we should trade Tanner Scott now that he's playing decent because he's going to eventually implode again. Like you, all of a sudden, you got Bender. I think you have. Brant was telling me that he wouldn't blow it up. Maybe he's right. Maybe we shouldn't blow it up because with the way the pitching is going right now, and then you add Sandy and Yuri to that, and if you can salvage the second half of the season or the last 75% of the season, I think that maybe we have something to look forward to next year. Am I off base by thinking that way?
No, it's a retool, not a rebuild.
I mean, so there's two answers to this, right? So one answer is that we have a solid core in place, especially in pitching, right? Like if anything, the pitching is what should be retooled more than anything. Now, I don't think that's parallel with what's really going to happen. I do think that they'll keep the pitching around to keep us competitive. I do think, honestly, that every bat is going to be shipped off. Like, I do think that, like, just going based off of the alleged Bendix way and the Tampa Bay Rays way, like, I'm not expecting a lot of these. Like, I'm still expecting like several guys in the lineup to be traded this season. Like, we already saw Rise gone. You know, if we're talking about retooling, that's a guy you retool around, right? We're probably going to trade.
I saw an interesting stat about Arise, right? So the Padres, since he arrived, have moved up to 5th in batting average, but have dropped down to 25th in runs scored. That's it's a small sample size, but I like batting average is nice, but he's not driving in runs.
But he's not a guy.
He's a leadoff though.
He's a leadoff guy. He's not a guy that's going to drive in runs. That's not what you ask your leadoff to do.
But he's not a leadoff guy because he's slow as hell, and he's a defensive liability.
The leadoff is no longer just a fast guy, right? Like in the last decade or so, baseball has grossly changed from that regard. It's a guy that gets on base. It's a guy that starts setting the table for the guys behind him. But in terms of who, Bell, I think is going to be traded. You know, I do think we'll see like DLC traded. You know, I think they keep Berger. I think they keep Jazz. You know, but I think we're going to start seeing, especially the lineup. I think the lineup's going to have gross turnover from this year to next year.
Yeah, well, and so sure. Like in our last episode, like that's kind of what I said. It's a retool. I think Bell's gone. I think DLC's gone. I think Luzardo's gone. And I think we're listening to offers for everybody else, but I don't think offers are coming in for anybody outside of those three. And if you trade those three away for prospects, you're starting to you're really just retooling this roster. Because I think you'll be able to see, give Troy Johnson a shot the second half of the season, see what he can do, see if he can be your everyday first baseman. If you trade DLC, you see a guy like Victor Mesa or Griffin Conine come up, and you see if they can be your everyday right fielder. And then in the offseason, you can kind of make decisions about, Jesus Sanchez is a guy that we need to make a decision on. We need to decide if he's going to be on this roster, if we can do something better with one of the other two guys that I mentioned. Like if Conine doesn't make it, is he better than Sanchez? Maybe. Who knows what Bendix model shows. But I think we can retool and then add to this roster. Especially if we can trade Luzardo for a shortstop or a catching prospect, like a top prospect, I think that's a win.
Yeah, and someone in the chat, Anthony, he asked if we trade Luzardo. I think Luzardo's gone.
I mean, Ken Rosenthal reported that it's just about it's happening sooner than later.
Yeah. He's gone. And the thing is, what I think the Marlins model is going to be, if it's anything like the Rays model, or anything like kind of just the trend around baseball, is that you trade these solidified, bona fide big league guys for near big league ready players, and you just kind of throw them into the pond and see how they do, right? So I think we'll see that with Luzardo. Hopefully we desperately need shortstop and catching reinforcements. Desperately, not just on the big league level, just throughout the entire farm system.
Anthony, I hate to tell you this.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the draft, so
I hate to tell you this, but this is probably the worst draft class we've seen in probably 10 years.
It's very top heavy. It is very top.
If you're not picking in the top 15, which we aren't, you're not getting anybody.
We're 16th.
We're one off.
We're deeper than that.
The one that I've kind of seen linked to us a lot, and baseball is a weird draft in the sense that most people know kind of how things are going to go. Baseball's very interesting. I'm seeing a lot that we are linked to Cam Smith, who's like a third baseman outfielder type at Florida State. He's a sophomore draft guy, which I think is right up the alley. I think that would be a great pickup. I think we need bats. This organization desperately needs bats, and bats that'll be in the bigs sooner rather than later. So I think I'm not gonna break my brain right now trying to think of who exactly, but a guy that will be in the minor for 2 or 3 years, and then we're they're in the bigs. Cam Smith, yeah, I've seen Cam Smith. I've seen Carson Balmer.
The guy I've seen a lot is Kalen Culpepper,
yeah,
shortstop out of Kansas State,
yeah,
which would make a lot of sense because shortstop is one of our worst areas, and there's no catchers that I think really break the bank.
yeah,
that are really like.
No, I think you hope to end up with a catcher at some point with one of the trades that you're going to be doing here in the trade.
I think the guys that are going the top 4 of this draft, which in any particular order is going to be Caglione from Florida, Cadone from Georgia, Lozano from Oregon State, and Burns from Wake Forest. Those guys are going to be big leaguers. Those guys are going to be big leaguers.
I think Kurtz goes in the top 4, huh?
Who? I think Burns is 4. Yeah, like I think
Kurtz from first baseman from Wake Forest.
Yeah, I think he's comfortably in. I think he's comfortably in the top 5. Like I don't. Yeah. But thoughts on my Anthony's gonna trade both Jazz and Jesus. I don't know if they
in the same trade. I don't think that happens.
The return would have to be ridiculous.
The
return would have to be
for Jazz. Yeah,
I don't think you can do that. The return for Jazz has to be pretty heavy if you're doing both of them.
Well,
if you're doing both of them, it has to be a team that was a straight favorite to win the World Series and had like 2 horrific injuries, and they're gonna go all in, and they don't care about their farm system, because I can't imagine who can.
And the reason why especially Jazz, would need such a heavy return is because he still has quite a bit of club control.
Isn't it 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, like I don't. That's why I don't. And he's not expensive, so I don't think Jazz is a guy that we part with. But
and the thing with Jazz too, and Danny and I talked about this, I think it was last episode, is after the interview that he gave, like we all love, right?
Yeah.
But other teams are going to view that as this guy's difficult in the locker room. That is bringing Jazz into a contender, to me, doesn't make sense. Jazz is a guy that you make comfortable and you make sure he's in a spot that he's going to succeed in, and that's it. I don't see him outside of the Marlins, by the way.
But with the thing with Jazz is like, the right manager can do the right things, right? Like guys that know how to manage a clubhouse. Like I don't think that would be an issue. And I think there's 10 to 15 very good managers in baseball right now. I don't know if I buy that one, just because your job is like, people say being a manager in baseball is the easiest job in sports because you just write up a lineup card and watch your guys play, which in a sense is very true. Yep. But the biggest role that a baseball manager has on the major league level is managing the clubhouse.
Personalities.
You're balancing the personalities, and I think with the right guy, yeah, absolutely. I think I don't think Skip is the only guy that can get the Jazz. So I just I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Jazz is I think Jazz just wants to play every day type of thing, and he wants to feel respected and he wants to like feel welcome.
I think if he goes anywhere, he wants to go back to shortstop.
I would love for him to go back to shortstop.
I think he should for us.
Since we have a need at shortstop, why don't we bring him back to shortstop?
Because of Tim Anderson. If Tim Anderson wasn't on this roster, Jazz would be going back to shortstop.
Thanks a lot, Branton.
Yeah, regardless,
I know I screwed us.
I think Jazz, he's too cheap, and he's not there's too much club control. I don't think Jazz is a guy that you move from. Again, the return would have to be just stupid.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at Jazz and saying that's our one piece away that I need. Let's be real.
And Jazz has been playing better. He's been playing much better lately.
Listen, I want us to keep Jazz. I don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, but I think the guys that you can safely, like the 2 guys you can safely like just cross off the list that they're going to be gone much sooner rather than later, are Lazard and Bell. I think they're gone.
Yep.
But
I think DLC's in there also.
Yeah, DLC's probably in there. Tanner Scott's in there too.
Yep.
I think so.
Just
Just
because
because
you got to get rid of him quick because he's gonna start sucking really soon again.
genuinely, I don't think that matters. He's a lefty. He's been in big moments before. He's played well before. Again, it's getting into the right place with the right coaches in the right system. Maybe in a place that he doesn't have to be the closer. Maybe it's a place where he can go in and be the 8th inning guy, the 7th inning guy. A team that's prospect heavy. Maybe he has a reunion in Baltimore. Maybe he maybe Chicago or one of these teams are kind of on the fringe trying to find their way up, that they're trying to find their way through the pack. I wouldn't be shy. I think Tanner Scott's, probably a likely trade, probably one of the more likely trade candidates. But and I think it's been the message from this team the whole time. No one's safe. I think if your name is not Sandy Alcantara or Yuri Perez, I don't think you're safe right now. I think everyone's job is kind of on the line.
You called it. Don't fall in love with anybody.
Don't fall in love with anybody, bro. Like we're
Too late.
Yeah.
I'm in love with Patrick Monteverde, and he ain't going anywhere.
Anthony, don't do that.
The Rangers.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's not do that. All right. So the Marlins have been doing much better, and we got a 3-game series against the Rangers coming up, and then we have a 2-gamer against the Rays. We have Monday off. Monday off days aren't very prevalent in the season, but so we got 5 games coming up before we record next time. I'll kind of want to know what you guys are thinking as far as how we're going to be looking. So predictions in the next 5 games: 3 against the Rangers and 2 against the Rays. What do you see us coming out as far as our record goes in the next 5 games?
I guess I'll go first. Both of them are like pretty much 500 teams.
Yep.
So I don't know.
The Rangers are 2 games on the 500, and the Rays are also 2 games on the 500.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been doing pretty well. If we do, what is it? It's 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go 3-2. We've been doing well. 3-2. Book it. That's my prediction. I don't know who's gonna win what, but 3-2.
All right. So I'm gonna say you're saying the Rangers. We take 2, and then we split with the Rays.
That's fine.
Probably.
Let's do that. Let's
Cali, next 5: Rangers 3, Marlins 2. Remember, all home games, and one of those is Flanny's night. So
we're winning Flanagan's night. We're winning
100% winning.
For sure.
Flanagan's night.
100%.
I haven't given a prediction in a while with all my movie nonsense, so I'm just gonna go bold here. We're gonna be 4-1 by the time we meet again.
Oh,
I like
We
it.
take 2 from the We take 2 from the Rangers. Flanagan's night has to be a win. If it's not a win, I'm burning down that fucking stadium. And then we sweep the Rays.
And we sweep the Rays. I like it. Brian.
I agree with Cali. 4-1.
wow.
I agree. I think Flanagan's night, by the way, we win by 5. I'm putting it out there. It's not even going to be close.
All right.
Well, wait, hold on. I think Sixto's pitching that day.
Stop! Don't do that.
I swear to God, I think Sixto's pitching
Well, that sucks
Saturday.
because I was gonna say 4-1, and the only loss would be Sixto's start. That's where I was gonna go with it.
Let me double check, but I'm 99% sure that Sixto's pitching.
Because in front of Jimmy Flanagan, you cannot have Sixto pitching.
That's an insult.
Yeah.
Let Sandy pitch 1 this season. And let it be known.
Throw somebody else.
Just
out
bring
there,
Max Meyer up for 1 game and send him back down.
Yeah, if we can
do
do that,
So-
that'd be great.
Jeremy's saying 3-3. Charles is saying 4-1. I don't know. The pitching staff has me feeling 4-1 also. I'm feeling pretty good right now, which is odd. But let's say hypothetically we were to go 4-1, we'd end up with 24-38. We'd be probably. No, I'd have to go back and check. But
We're clawing.
after the first 41 games, that would be a pretty wild record. That would
All right,
be,
we're safe. Flanagan's night is Ryan Weathers.
Oh, we're
All right.
yeah, we're
locking
back.
that down.
Maybe we
Tomorrow
do it
night
by
is
5.
Sixto with his 0-3 and 6.25 ERA.
Jesus Christ.
So,
You know what it is
it
that
tomorrow?
in Sixto's last start, he gave up 2 runs in the first, and his ERA went down. You know how bad that is?
That's pretty funny.
So this is how it's gonna go. We're gonna lose tomorrow. The Sixth will start. We're gonna lose. He's gonna get a no decision. We're gonna somehow have a lead going into the 8th inning, and Puck's gonna give it up, and we will lose late game. So Sixto won't get the loss. We'll have to score a couple runs to take that lead, and then your boy Puck will give it up, and then we'll win 4 in a row.
Oof.
Oh, damn. All right.
I could
So
see
4
it.
and 1. 4 and 1.
All right.
Oh, the Panthers won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, baby. I need a Flanagan's night, by the way.
Before you leave, we have
Yeah,
to.
before you go, we gotta figure it out.
We got to set that up. We got to get Shadow involved. We got to get everyone involved.
Mike,
We got to get everyone on
who
board.
hates Flanagan's?
I need a Flanagan's night with the boys before we hit the road.
Absolutely. We'll set that up.
All right. Well, any final words there, Cali?
Happy to be on tonight. I'm fucking exhausted. Trading sucks. Go to Flanagan's night, guys. If you can, make sure you get the special tickets. Make sure you get your cup. Make sure you get your jersey. Let's roll, baby. Just enjoy baseball while it's here.
And Jeremy, we're not finishing last. We're gonna finish above the Mets, so we will not finish last. That's the goal. Go ahead, Spaz. Final words.
Vamos Gatos, and see you guys at Flanagan's night.
Is that the shirt you made, by the way?
I made this shirt. Fucking
nice.
acrylic paint. That's why it's crooked.
Dolphin Mall ass shirt.
I don't know if you can see the back. I don't know if it.
Charles, DM me, dog. I don't know how to get a hold of you, man. DM me, bro.
Charles, tell us where you are, man.
I'm gonna go see you for a haircut, my man.
Bratton, final words, sir.
Final words, guys. Enjoy these players while we got them. Let's hope Brax is ready to go out and throw another complete game shutout against the Rays. And get out there for Flanagan's night, man. I'm going to buy a ticket and send it to Spazzy and see if he can get me
he's in your
Flanagan's jersey.
He's in Hialeah.
Nika Barbershop. You're my neighbor, bro. I'm in Hialeah.
Yeah, but Spaz stopped getting haircuts a long time ago.
I did. Yeah, no.
Go in for a mustache trim, bro.
Yeah, Charles, what do you do about facial hair? My boy Spazzy.
If he does it, I'll go in there for a little mustache trim or something.
Listen, he'll bring Sixto. He and Sixto drink Presidentes behind Lone Depot every night.
I'll bring a Sixto Presidente to Nika Barbershop. We'll have some beers and talk Marlins. Yeah, we'll do it.
Hey, man, Charles supports us. We got to support him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you in the chat, as always, you guys are the best part of the show. We appreciate you chiming in, making the conversation that much more fun. And we'll be back next Thursday celebrating a 4-1 week. Only loss coming with 6, though. But still, we're looking good. It's getting fun again to talk baseball. So this is awesome. So until the next one, have a good one.